Hey everybody, it's Monica Dubé here, and I'm going live really quickly today to just talk about a very important topic, which is the connection between self-worth and money. And a lot of what we do as women especially is hold ourselves back in terms of how much money we make and how much we're empowered to create in our businesses and our self-worth. Now, why is that connected? Well, it's all about value. So when you don't value yourself enough to say up level your business or go to the next stage in your business, say you've been in business for a while and you're kind of plateauing. I know I've been there. You kind of feel like, how dare I do something beyond this? And there's a sense of wanting to play small or even ask for permission to do this. And actually, what has to happen is you have to give yourself the permission to be as strong and as brave and as courageous and also in alignment. Really find your alignment with what you value. So, if you don't really know what you value or what you're committed to in your life, you won't even know what I'm talking about. Okay. But self worth comes from having a very high sense of value with yourself, with who you are, with who you're being, and what you truly want to create for your life. Now, I'm very clear about my message and who I'm helping. I'm here to elevate women. I'm here to help women on all different levels, executives as well as entrepreneurs, to really make a difference in the world, to elevate women and children. And why does that matter to me? Well, I think a lot of us really are looking to have that impact, but there's not a sense of how to go about it, right? Because we're all kind of making it up as we go. The key is that as an entrepreneur, especially, you have an open ended, unlimited amount of impact that you could have and amount of money that you can have and make. Now, that's what attracted me to entrepreneurship after doing a lot of healing work, doing a lot of traveling around the world, teaching. I realized I got to do this for myself, not just for this group I was in, right? So I realized I had to really put myself first, which is really hard for women to do. That's the first stage, is putting yourself first and being extremely self-protective. Like, don't listen to what other people say. Don't listen to the matrix of, who are you to do that? Or you're to this or to that. That's all made up. It's all complete crap. And I want you to know that that will stop you if you don't deal with it. So the first thing is you got to recognize about your own beliefs about yourself are holding you back. You're your worst enemy. Okay? When you don't value yourself and your services and what you're offering people and your products, you will be held back. And that's exactly where we've been stuck for centuries. So it's time for us to really step out of that, bring the divine feminine in, admit to, oh, I don't know, I'm struggling, I'm not sure, and ask for the support that you need. That's the first thing, is to recognize you need help when you need it and ask for support. If you don't feel valuable, you won't ask for help. You'll stay stuck. And all of my clients are there. They stay stuck until they find me. And then they were like, oh, how do I do this? And so we work really deeply on their beliefs and what's holding you back. What have you been conditioned to believe about yourself that isn't true? Because if it's fear-based, it's not true. If it's shame-based, it's not true. These are stories that we have made up. And your memories can be undone. In fact, they need to be undone for you to have this big shift that I'm talking about. So all of my clients go through this, and then they come out the other end and they're like, wow, I had no idea that I could be this powerful and have this kind of life where I'm making a big impact and creating a business for other people, to help other people rather. So they go together. The money and the self-worth absolutely go together, hand in hand. So you've got to learn, first of all, to value yourself enough to charge higher prices probably than what you're comfortable with. I always encourage and help people with their money blocks too, because your money blocks are also going to keep you playing small. And if you don't open up to receive and open up to letting the universe really give you what you want, right? And for men, it's different. For men, it's like, go, 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 get them and be competitive and beat your competitors out. And all of that sort of aggressive, sort of assertive energy. Women are not comfortable there. And they can, actually, some are, and it's fine. But a lot of us feel like, oh, I don't know how, I don't want to be a man. I want to be myself. And I want to be allowing this to happen, right? Like the woman that just created Spanx, Sarah Blakely, I think, she just talked about that, how she came in and she was like, I'm not going to do it the male way. I'm going to do it the female way. I'm going to talk about love. I'm going to have the universe help me and support me. And I'm going to create a buzz around what I'm doing with love from my heart. And I'm like, wow. When I heard that, I was like, no wonder she did so well. Like she really engaged with her own intuitive self and knew her product was great and was going to go big, but she never gave up on herself. And she really looked at herself thoroughly and said, I'm not doing it like the males. I'm going to do this differently. So a lot of us are bringing in this more feminine kind of divine feminine energy now, because it's really important that we do take back our power, but use it in a way that feels aligned with who we are. Okay. And we're nurturers. We raise children. All children come through women, so women are the creators here on the planet. And we do have power. We have a lot more power than we give ourselves credit for. I mean that. And it's something I've struggled with all my life. So I really get it, right? When things don't work out for you in the business world and you just kind of collapse and you give up, sometimes it's because you feel like you don't belong, like you're a fish out of water. And that's because you haven't been able to fit into this patriarchy. You don't belong there. You just don't belong there. And you're different. And it's good that you're different. It's very good that you're different from other people or how other people think. So find out how powerful and vulnerable and worthwhile you are. It does come from being very vulnerable and open to seeing where you're holding yourself back, what beliefs you've been conditioned to believe about yourself. Perhaps you were taught to not speak up, not take a stand for yourself. I know that was true for me in my family life, because I was one of 10 children. So I could never speak up. I could never just, say who I am. And I was scared a lot because I just felt like everybody else. Most of my siblings were older than me. You just grow up in this environment and you don't feel that sense of power. Well, that's all changing now. Okay. We're going to change the stories. We're going to let go of that. The past is over, and we can put the past in the past and create a new life when you can write down the stories, what's holding you back. So you have stories about your self-worth and how you value yourself. You also have stories about money, and they do go together. So money is all about being self-aware of what your money beliefs are. What story are you telling about it? When you get very clear about that and you know that you have work to do there and you admit to it, right? And don't just keep pretending it's okay. Don't keep fantasizing about having lots of money when deep down you don't feel you deserve it, okay? Now, I've had some really great months in my business where it's just gone exponential, and I always am a little bit like, oh, wow, now what, because you're not used to it. You have to step into it. You got to put on your big girl's, pants and realize I'm going to actually be this powerful leader. And that takes something. It takes you going deep into your shadow and where that shadow is holding you back. And that's often really where all your power is. Your power is in the shadow. So you got to welcome it, right? Don't try to run from it. The shadow is where your power is. I'm going to say it again because I just heard somebody say it on Clubhouse and I was like, oh, I love that. When we run from our shadow or we run from our fear and we try to hide, right? That was my whole thing. Just hide and you'll be okay. Well, guess what hiding does? It creates nothing. Like nothing happens when you're hiding. It's like being afraid and staying afraid and pulling the covers over your head and wishing you could be different. Doesn't work. Okay, and I know a lot of us feel that way because we're sensitive, and I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm an empathic healer, and it's taken a lot for me to come out of the woodwork and really step into my power. And so I help other women do that because I know how challenging it is to have that courage to step out and be powerful within your life. And whole cultures and countries are holding women back. We know what they are and who they are. And now I'm on a quest to really establish a global leadership to help women elevate and get beyond the stigma of, not being enough or not good enough, or you should be staying at home with the children. Why? We're here to actually change this world. And I know they're going to thank us later. Because once we do step into this greater sense of worthiness and power and light, wow, look out, because the world's going to change. The systems are all going to be redone. Okay. So take control of how you handle money, and take control of not being reliant on someone else giving you permission, but you standing in your light and saying, I'm going to do this because it's what I need to do. And you have skills and strengths that you need to call upon and really step into courage. Okay. The third thing is to become really empowered with financial decisions and how to deal with money, become financially educated, connect with other people who are in the financial world, and have conversations with them and say, look, what can I do? I need a little extra cash maybe this month to launch this new part of my business, or whatever that is that you need help with. Reach out and ask, because a lot of business people are really helpful and want to help you. I've found that everywhere I've gone to like the SBA, or I've gone to networking meetings, and a lot of these very powerful men even want to help women. So be aware that sometimes your support's going to come from places you never even imagined. But if you don't ask for help, you won't get it. And believe me, I'm listening to my own teaching right now. Okay. So that's why I'm on LinkedIn every day, to help people learn that they don't have to hold themselves back. And if you're in the business world, you know what I'm talking about. You know what it's like to be put down. You do know what it's like to not be at your fullest maybe in the job. Maybe you're not being recognized for the talent that you actually have. I happen to be very highly intuitive, and I know that when I'm not being respected, I don't want to be in that environment. But running away is not the answer. It's taking a stand for yourself and taking a stand for other women as well. And not just women, but sometimes men are being bullied. So there's lots of sensitive men out there too that this could be helpful for. I've coached a lot of men, I've coached a lot of women, and I've really helped them find their alignment with who they are so they can really create a business they love and step into their power. So that was the third thing, is to start to really become empowered with how you manage your money and take care of it, respect it. The fourth thing is to be very aware of where you're not trusting yourself, where you're giving your trust to other people because they seem to know better, right? Like maybe you go to a financial advisor. Well, that's all great, but maybe you should learn more about the financial world so you can make powerful decisions with money. I know for me, it took me years to really feel comfortable with investing and everything. And I am still just at the beginning of that in my life, because I was not trained. I didn't go to business school. I went to music school, right? So I didn't even enter the business world till I was well into my mid-20s, and it wasn't a place I was comfortable with. And I've had to really learn how to be comfortable in business. And what I've really brought to the table now is finding my own value and knowing that my services and how intuitive I am and how I can help people heal and have breakthroughs is a very, very important thing. Okay. Because it helps you with the mind, helps you create a business you love, and you don't have to hold yourself back anymore. All right. So learning to trust yourself with decisions about money, about your business, about who you hang out with, about people you want to be with, other business people. And so power includes money. You have to recognize it. Fear is only going to give you discomfort and more pain. Power comes from letting go of fear, stepping into more of your courage, finding the courage to take that next leap. Okay, there's great books out there, and books are great, but I promise you, if you're not getting the results you want in your life, you need a coach. You need someone to challenge you, be your accountability buddy. Let them help you get to that next place in your business. If you're trying to do it on your own, I promise you that's just failure. You're going to fail. It's going to take you a whole lot longer. I just wrote an article for Thrive Global about this, about the 5 things you need to have a successful coaching business. Wow, I really spent a lot of time on that article because it meant something to me to be able to help people create coaching businesses that really support other people and elevate people to be powerful. What else would you want to do? I mean, to me, that's like the culmination of my life's work is help you to have a spiritual awakening and then be powerful in the world to create a business that you love. And why is it that you need to create a business? Well, I just think that I didn't want to be under someone else's thumb. I didn't want to be taking orders from someone else. I don't care if I had to struggle for 5 or 6 years. I just didn't want to have to like be at someone else's beck and call. And I knew I had something really powerful to give, but I had to go through on a very personal spiritual quest to find out what that was. And I have, and now I'm giving this to the world. So here's the other thing. I want you to recognize that when you feel any kind of lack of self-worth, and I'm going to do some interviews with people about this coming up. This is going to be my podcast. But lack is actually a limitation on how you see yourself. There actually is no such thing as lack. It's a perception. And it's a perception that's wrong because there is no lack anywhere. Show me lack. Show me lack. It's an idea, right? It's an idea of not enough. And that comes from here, from how you feel about yourself, your story about the past. And perhaps you got up in front of people when you were a kid and were made fun of. And so you felt that lack of love or support, right? And those are the areas that we need to work on to overcome. I know people who have lots of money and lots of success, but they have a lot of blocked energy in their heart. They haven't really embraced their love for themselves. And that love for yourself has to start to really be your priority if you're going to really step into more light and step into more power. Power is light, by the way. Power is love. And women know that, as we give birth to children and we see how amazing our bodies are, how amazing that this whole thing called life is, and that we get to be a part of that. We get to be stewards of these gorgeous little kids, that come through us. We get to be stewards of their well-being and how they relate to the world. Well, if we're not doing our inner growth work, we're basically just conditioning them to believe the matrix, all the nonsense that's being fed us, by the media and everything else. That if you're buying into that whole system, good luck, because you're being brainwashed by the whole matrix that's trying to keep you playing small. That's where the low self-worth comes from, is the matrix. And that's why they say that you have to, do it a certain way. You have to get your degree and go get this job and work in corporations. Maybe if that's what you want, but a lot of people are coming in now. All the kids coming in now are so creative and they don't want it. They don't want to be that stuck in a career like that. They have a lot of energy toward creating the world in a different way, upsetting the systems and being renegades and really, creating a revolution. So I'm all about it. I have a very strong feeling that joy comes from creating what you want with your life. Your joy comes from your creative ability to connect to your higher self, connect to your intuitive capabilities. We do need you. Do need healers. We need the voices to speak up about this, okay? And say no when you mean no. And that's a big part of taking a stand for yourself, saying no to what you don't want, okay? It's a big one. Competitive, jealousy, right? Sometimes we feel that's our shadow side. We're kind of competitive. We're kind of jealous of other people. I've been through it. I get it. But you've got to recognize it and go, oh, yeah, I'm being a little jealous here right now. Oh, I think they're doing it better than me. Notice it and ask for support and get some healing around it, okay? Because your heart is asking for more. And then you start to compare yourself to other people that are already like well ahead of you. Probably they've been at it for 20 years. And for you to compare yourself to them at this stage is a big mistake. So stop comparing yourself. That's the other problem that we have with self-worth. We get very competitive. We get very catty. We get very, who are you to do that? Because we don't feel valued and valuable in our lives. So notice when you start to do that and just ask for help. Admit to it, shine a light on it, feel it, and then heal it. Okay? You got to feel it to heal it. I heard someone say that today. I was like, oh, I love it. It's one thing to know, it's another thing to feel it and heal it, right? So be aware, feeling and healing go together. You got to get to that stage where you're willing to feel it and own it, and then it can be healed. It doesn't have to take a long time. So, another thing I heard recently really helped me was success is a moving target. You never actually arrive. Do you know why? Because there's always more expansion. There's always more. There's always something more to grow into. Like I have a pretty thriving business right now, but there's more. I'm meant to serve a lot more people. I want to serve a lot more people. And I know that. And so every day I'm looking at ways to create that. How do I expand this? I'm doing great, but how do I expand it? I just took a sailing trip to the Bahamas. Wow, totally rocked me. Literally, got really seasick and then thought I was in the wrong place and then realized I'm just going to have to deal with this. And then it got better. I got better because I claimed my power. I slept, that first night and took a Dramamine, took care of myself and found my power again. And I asked for help in the middle of it too, so that I wouldn't feel all alone in it. So be aware that you've got some work to do when you're gonna make an impact in the world. We're here to disrupt these old patterns. We're here to disrupt the patriarchy that doesn't work anymore. And it really bothers me that there's so many thought leaders in our world that are all men, right? It really bothers me because I love men, but I don't want them to be the only leaders. I want them to and they probably aren't going to step aside, right? Because they love having their power. But we got to take a stand for ourselves and make ourselves visible and make ourselves heard and be different, right? Allow yourself to be yourself and be different. That's the hardest thing, I think, for women especially, is to just stand in the certainty of who you are and know that you have the power to create the life you want and command respect. Really command respect. And the way to do that is probably raise your prices. Become more aware that you do have power and you do have this sovereign power that's yours and you're very different from other people. We're all very unique. Own your brilliance. Own your uniqueness. Own your genius. That's what I want to say to women right now. Own your genius. And I need to hear it too. So this is for everyone who's on a path of awakening and healing and bringing yourself into the world. We need you. You are the voice. All right, thank you. I hope that this helped you. That's basically all I wanted to share today. And it was so important for me to just have this moment on LinkedIn, my favorite platform, because it's a place of business and respect and trust, where people really trust each other. So I'll be live streaming here every week, at least twice a week. I really hope this helps you. If you want to know more, please reach out to me. I do have services to help women elevate on money, self-worth, and then we do coaching along with that if you choose to do that. But a lot of what I'm doing is for the masses, like very inexpensive programs that will help you elevate, help you get out of your money blocks, help you get out of your self-sabotage. All of that is nonsense. You don't have to stay there, but you do need support in getting out and becoming free. So let me know if you need any support. I will be here as long as it takes. The rest of my life, I'll be doing this, I'm sure. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Monica Dubé. I will be back next week on Tuesday at 4 p.m. interviewing someone who helps people with the legal part of this. Like, you got to get legal, right? If you're going to do something, create businesses, create products or services, intellectual property, you need help with the legalities of that too. So I'll be interviewing someone about that. Thanks so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.